Welcome. My name is Richie and this is Bronx Brothers Motorcycles. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm glad you're back. On today's video, we're going to do some work on my Electroglide Classic. Let's get to the video. Well, I've had this bike front end disassembled for some time now, and as I commented on one of my last videos, while I'm at it and I have the front cover off, I'm gonna do some wiring. I have a backup camera that works with the Sony XAV7000, and I am able to connect the camera and at a press of a button, it's not a button here, it's actually on the screen, it's touch screen, I am able to see behind me. Now you can also do that if you want to put it, I don't know, in front of you, sideways, if you want to record. This thing is capable of recording if you add some memory to it, a memory stick. It has various functions. It has a lot of functions, actually. It has CarPlay. I really like the system. If you're not familiar with it and you have an Electroglide, I will say this is, you know, a popular upgrade on a lot of the single din Electroglides. It does not fit the road glides. The road glides remain a single din of these years. You could probably get a pop-out screen. I've seen that. My brother has a single din with a real small screen. It's probably a 3-inch, something like that. But this one here works, does the job. The only thing it doesn't have, which I wish it had, and you're probably going to call me crazy, is YouTube. I listen to a lot of music on YouTube, and I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff. I'm a YouTube guy, so there's just a lot of stuff that I watch on YouTube that I could listen to while I'm riding. Obviously, you're not going to watch this stuff. So even if you could just listen to it, that would be ideal. On really long trips, and I know some people are anti-phones and all that, and so am I. But, you know, I go on some really long trips, 10-hour, 12-hour days. So some entertainment would be nice. Now, I will tell you that I am the kind of rider that, compared to everybody else I ride with, my radio or music, or I actually use the not the Pandora, but the Spotify, which CarPlay comes equipped with. But I probably use music 10% of my ride, and there's people who cannot ride without music. They have to have music the whole time. And I like the silence and just, I don't know, the thoughts in my head. That's me. Sometimes I pray, sometimes I meditate, sometimes, you know, it's just a little bit of everything. I don't have to listen to music the whole time. So, but anyhow, I'm going to get with showing you guys how I'm going to do this. This shouldn't take very long at all. And then I have to put the bike back together, which in this case is basically put back the screen, the windscreen here, the windshield, some people call it. Put the front wheel back on, bolt up the calipers. That's all very simple. The fender is in place, but it is still loose. And I have a 21-inch wheel on this bike, which means I have to lift the back just that little bit right there so that the wheel does not rub. If you install a 21-inch wheel on these bikes, you have to do a little bit of drilling right here, and then before you bolt it down, you pull that fender. That's all it takes, is that little bit right there, and you bolt that down, leave it just like that, and it works. I put a quick disconnect plug for my fender light here. When I took the bike to get the engine work done, one of the techs over there found it very interesting that I had a quick disconnect plug. He says, oh, it disconnects up here somewhere. And I was like, yeah, but I have to take all that apart to get to it. He goes, yeah, you're right. He goes, if you just want to take the fender off, it's a whole lot easier having that plug there. It may not be pretty, but who the heck looks at that anyway? I mean, you know what I mean? It's not in a show. It's my touring bike. So if I need to pop that fender off in a jiffy, like I did there, I just unplug it. So as you can see, my diamond cut engine, there's a lot of work on this bike that I've done. If you don't know this bike is a built bike. It has a 107, 120 horsepower, 120 foot-pounds of torque, done by Brooks Cycles in North Carolina. The guy is a wizard building engines, and really talented mechanic at building engines. Has T-man pistons, heads, lifters. It has S&S cam plate, S&S oil pump. It has a lot of goodies, and it goes, you know, which is what it's not what it's made for. It's made for touring, but it goes. Oh, and it has a dark horse crank, which is the biggest thing it has. So yeah, the previous crank was a little bit lopsided, so I opted for the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shebang, whatever you want to call it, and that's what we did. So let's put it together and see what we got. Looks crooked. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can see what I see, but it looks like that. It doesn't look straight. I think you can see that. You know, these Olin shocks, cartridges rather, are, one is preload and one is dampening or damping, whatever, however that word is. And so one is stronger than the other. So I think what I need to do is lower the bike, or rather put the wheel on the bike and then lower it so that all the weight is on that wheel, and then tighten the fender, because it is a substantial amount of gap, as you can see. And that is because this, you can see it right there, this fork is lower than that fork. I bought these forks and they are in the $600 range, almost $700, or probably with tax $700 for the lowers only, for this. And I was washing the bike. Well, first let me go back. It had these little bubbles in it, in the chrome, and I probably 3 months after I had it, I noticed it one day, and I took a few pictures and I sent it to Performance Machine, and they ignored it. I spoke to this one guy who was a real jerk. Let's call it how it is. okay? And you know, he's like, send me pictures. I sent him pictures and he never responded to my pictures. And I let it go. You know, 6 months later, I'm washing the bike and I noticed that that bubble was now not there anymore, but what I could see was brass underneath. So in other words, the chrome had completely peeled, and that's what it came off as, in strips. So this whole section here was. So now I reach out to the dude again, and he doesn't respond. I reach out to Performance Machine, and again they tell me, send me pictures, and which really ticked me off because, you know, like, I have the whole fork leg I can show you. Like, let me send you the fork leg, not just a picture. I had to pay for the shipping of the fork legs to California, which was not cheap, and it took them 2 months to send me a new set. It was wintertime and I was not pushing it, but I had to reach out to the dude and say, hey, where are my fork legs? And then he was like, oh yeah, let me send you a set. So that was my experience, and it wasn't a good one, because with all the money I paid, it was really irritating. It is a little complicated because the axle holes right here don't line up. So I'm gonna, you know, and the bike has to be balanced. So I have to figure out a way to lower the bike and then make sure it doesn't tilt sideways on me and fall. So it's a little bit tricky. Let's see. So hopefully just the fork is going up. This is not easy. I'm using my knee, my left hand, and my right hand, but I need a mallet. Now I gotta tighten this. Now the forks should be aligned. I still have not put that one spacer on, but I want to get the fender in place first, because the fender will hold the forks in place, and then let's see if I'm right. Balanced now. Let's see if it's even. Yep, now it's even. Even Steven. Now I can tighten the forks. Not the fork, the fender. And as previously stated, so when you have a 21 inch, when you've done the conversion of a 21 inch on these bikes with this fender, you tilt it forward. Because what happens is, if you didn't know, is when you ride, if you're going 100 miles per hour, this tire is going to grow. How much it grows, I don't know. But if you ever watch a drag race, you see that the cars, the funny cars especially, their tires, like, they jump up probably, you know, a foot. It's dramatic, the amount of increase in size. So at 100 miles per hour, this tire is going to grow a little bit, and what happens is you then get a pinstripe on your fender right across the top, and that is because the tire heated that metal so much that it peels the paint. Yep. that works magnificent right there. It's holding the fender. The fender looks good now. On both sides there's the same distance. Yep. So this is my homemade Allen wrench, because I don't have one that big. Did that. Got the lock nut, 2 nuts. To take it off, I pry on this one. To put it on, I pry on the top one. It's pretty simple. So, if I haven't told you, we have a plan to ride to Milwaukee this year in about a month, because of Harley-Davidson's 120th anniversary. My brother and 2 cousins, that is what we want to do. Now these fenders do have little tabs on there. I think you can see it right there, that I'm going to bend one on each side so that that nut does not move. Did some work and took a little nap, which is what I'm good at. I'm really good at taking naps, for if you did not know that about me. So let me bring you up to speed on what I did here. I got the fender on. It is square. I have the calipers on, and I tightened the wheel. Everything is, I tightened the pinch bolts. On this side it has pinch bolts, and I torqued the axle bolt. So now all I have to do is put the little caps on here, which give that a nice finishing touch. I will show you how that looks. And then I need to finish installing the fairing. So what do I have left to do so I can ride this puppy today? Put the headlight on, that's easy. And I have to wire it, because if you did not know, I have the Arlen Ness Ring of Fire, it's called. So it mimics these little dots on my wheels, and I also have those dots on my air breather and my gauges. I'll show you real quick. See dots, and on the air breather, just trying to keep the theme the same, as you know can imagine, right? So it's on the wheels, and it is on my air breather, Ring of Fire headlight. It's in a few places. So that's what I got. Let me get busy and put this bike together so that I can take it for a ride today. The battery is fully charged. It's just ready to be ridden as soon as I put those items on. Let's get to it. And if you didn't know, I use that little jack for the purpose of just maintaining the bike upright, and the wheels just slightly off the ground. Matter of fact, I was just talking to my cousin about that, my cousin Nesto, and his rear tire blew a chunk out of rubber. He can't use that tire, it's garbage. So in my theory, and I've read about tires where if you store a vehicle for a certain amount of time, that you should lift the car up off the ground, or the motorcycle in that case. and they say even like 3-4 months, and that's what we're doing in the winter time. So 2 of my bikes have center stands, and the other bikes that don't, I have these little jacks that you saw that I used earlier, and I like to raise the bike off the ground with those. They're really good because they don't get in the way. They're just wide enough where it's underneath the bike. It is an excellent jack. I'll show you one now if you don't know what I'm talking about. That one is on wheels. That one's a special one, because that one I could roll around. And I put it on this bike because this bike is not going to get used for a long while. On my Vikla, that bike I do use. And believe it or not, those tires are just slightly off the ground. There's no weight on those tires. Started right up. Sounds like a champ. Sounds like a true champion. I think you can hear the fireworks, but soon there will be fireworks for me. I'm gonna take it for a ride. I will report back. Well, I've taken it on its voyage after that work was done to it, and it rides as expected. It rides good. I will say the clutch needs some adjustment. Yeah, it comes out like a fraction of an inch as you just let go of the clutch. And the reason I can tell that it needs a clutch adjustment is because when you pop it in gear, if you have it the clutch all the way pulled in, it kind of jerks forward a little bit. So it needs a tad of adjustment on that. I've ridden it right now probably an hour and a half. Not all at one shot because I had to go to one of my job sites and meet with some new employees and show them around. But it was 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, and about another 20 to get to where I was at this morning, Independence Day here in the United States. And how fitting that I am here at City Hall, Virginia Beach City Hall is where I'm at currently. I was riding by and I thought I'd pull over in here. As you can see, the buildings here are colonial style because obviously Virginia, a colonial state. This is kind of the first, not kind of, this is the first capital of this country. When the Brits came over, the capital was in Williamsburg, Virginia, not far from here. Williamsburg is about an hour from here, an hour and 10 minutes. Matter of fact, my daughter's going to be going to the school there, William and Mary, which is right in Williamsburg. It is the second oldest college in the United States. I can't remember where the first one is at. Bike performed well. Like I said, it does need a clutch adjustment, which I'll take care of that. I will say, riding this bike after having been riding my BMW K1200 GT is a world of difference. This bike is bigger, heavier, takes a little bit of more muscle, honestly, to dip it into the turns. Now, it does have a 21-inch front wheel. That does not help with maneuverability. It helps with looks. But if you are considering getting a 21-inch wheel and you want more performance than you want looks, then I would stay with a 19-inch wheel. They handle a little bit better. I can feel myself having to muscle this bike to dip it into the corners. and compared to the 1200 GT, that's almost a sport bike. So it is a significant difference in weight, in handling. Power, this bike has power. I mean, you know, the engine is souped up, so I'm not complaining about the power of the engine. For a Harley-Davidson, it performs very well. I'm happy with the performance of it. Compared to the BMW, you can't compare them. It's two different bikes. That bike is lighter. I mean, everything about it feels different. So you know, I'll say this, and I was thinking about this last night when I took it on the first ride, was that you can get used to any bike. You know, if that's what you have to ride, it probably takes you a day or two, and all of a sudden you're used to that one bike. And when you ride something different, and that is the case with me because I have 4 bikes that I normally ride, is they all feel different. And some feel better than others, no lie, because this is a heavy bike. This bike's not for chumps, you know. But on the highway, this is the bike to be on, and long distance, this is the bike to be on. And as you know, I have a full entertainment system on this bike, so it has, you know, GPS, it has everything I need. So again, happy with my bike and the way it's performing. I hope you all are having a great 4th of July. You know, God bless America, and God bless you all that are watching this. God bless you all that subscribe to my channel. Again, I hope you're having an awesome weekend, a safe weekend with your loved ones, that you're getting out there and putting your knees in the breeze. There'll be more videos to come. Anyway, you all take care. Watch out with the crazy people on the roads, and I will catch you on the next one. Adios.